SOS Support Public Broadcasting Coalition will be hosting its annual Public Service Media Symposium tomorrow in Sandton. The symposium aims to reflect on the state of public service media to ensure its significance and that it is not eroded by the rapid rise of digital media, but remains central to ongoing public discourse. Launched in 2014, this year's symposium is held under the theme Advancing Public Service Media in South Africa. We're now joined by Uyanda Siyotula, National Coordinator, SOS Support Public Broadcasting Coalition. Uyanda, a very good afternoon to you. Give us a sense of what you hope to achieve at this year's symposium, especially as you believe the SABC remains at the center of public debate in the digital era.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for having me. So indeed, we think this is such a significant event because with the digital transformation, the importance of the public broadcaster really, should not be forgotten. So we think, first of all, this event really does highlight the significance of public service broadcasting, in South Africa. And I think one of the key outcomes that we're hoping to achieve tomorrow is understanding the funding model that is needed for the SABC. We've got various sessions, and our flagship really is the session that's looking at understanding the funding model of the SABC. We know that the department has appointed a private service provider to develop the funding model of the SABC, and we really have experts in the room that are going to unpack what funding mechanisms need to be included in that funding model, what revenue stream generations generation should the developers be looking at, because we really want to see the SABC become sustainable. And we think, this would be a great intervention from us as SOS to really contribute towards, a sustainable, SABC. And really, apart from that, we've got another session that's looking at the impact of the Canal Plus takeover, at MultiChoice. We're just looking at how it would really impact the broadcasting landscape, and particularly how it would impact the SABC, and the local content production sector, because we are a bit worried that this takeover will eventually impact the broadcasting services that are carried by MultiChoice. We know even this channel is on MultiChoice, so we don't know what the greater impact will be. And then we've got experts in the room that are also just going to be unpacking and looking at what that greater impact would be.
Yeah, I want to just go back to your earlier comments around the funding model. We know that the SABC's funding model is being developed without what many would say a clear policy framework. I mean, how risky do you think that is? And as you answer that question, perhaps also give us a sense of how do you then balance, the need for commercial income within the SABC's public service mandate?
That's a very important point, because I think it's really one of our greatest, concerns as well, because this, funding model is being developed in a policy vacuum. And the risk is that when the funding model has been developed and it's incorporated into the SABC bill, there's no basis, there's no underpinning policy. And when the policy is now finalized, there will be no alignment or cohesion between the two, So I think really that's, hugely problematic. So in terms of balancing the commercial aspects, that's actually really tricky, because one of the biggest concerns with the SABC is that it's highly commercialized. In fact, about 80% of its revenue, comes from commercial streams. And really that is problematic, because eventually it is going to impact on, its public service. But I think the problem is that government is really not funding the SABC. It's not coming to the fore. It's not funding the public service, mandate of the SABC. So we're also hoping that, the revenue streams that we're going to be discussing tomorrow are not only going to be focusing on commercial streams, but are also going to be focusing on the role that government can play. We know that government has said there's no money, but, we were hoping that, the experts could look at current funding schemes within government where the money could be repurposed for public service broadcasting. So hopefully those discussions will be unpacked tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, you touched a little bit about, some of the threats to public service media. You mentioned Canal Plus there too. Should regulators in any way, be worried about a foreign ownership concentration in this country? I mean, what are your concerns there?
I mean, it is worrisome. They should be. I mean, they definitely should be. I'm hoping that we are going to have, people from ICASA in tomorrow's meeting just to really hear what their views are. But, it is concerning because, our country is diverse, first of all, and the public interest really is key to public broadcasting. We know that even the commercial broadcasters have got public service obligations because public interest content is key. So in terms of regulation, what our biggest concern is that DSTV is now going to be flooded by foreign content. What does that then mean for local producers who really thrive on getting their content published and broadcasted, in fact, on DSTV, on the different multi-choice, channels? So I think really the sustainability of the sector is what is really concerning to us. So we're hoping that, these are some of the conversations that will unpack. And luckily, we are going to have multi-choice in the room, and they will be able to tell us some of the, mechanisms that and the safeguards, they've really taken to ensure that the public interest is not lost, or it's still, very central as multi-choice, transforms and is now being owned by a foreign entity. And I also just want to say that we are hosting this symposium in collaboration with Conrad Adenauer Stiftung. And they really, also really understand the importance of public service media in South Africa and are, of the mind that it needs to be, it needs to continue to be in the public domain. And, because it does play an important role in communication, it is still the, source of information for millions of South Africans to this day.
And I believe editorial independence is also going to be something that you will be touching on at the symposium. But thank you so much for your time, Uyanda. That's all the time we have this afternoon. Of course, that was Uyanda Siyotula, National Coordinator, SOS Support Public Broadcasting Coalition.